board game is a 2 to 4 player game. The goal is each of these weeks, each column is a week of travel, and you're on your way from Independence, Missouri to the Willamette Valley, which is where I happen to live. How you play this game, on the top of your little player mat, it tells you what you do and the order. So the first step that you do is you discover the trail. And what that means is you started with 2 tiles and you choose one of them or 2 of them. You can play both of them if you'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place the winter one. I'm going to place that number 6 river one. One thing when you discover the trail is you always go back up to your number of tiles that you have auctioned. So if you have just your normal mat, you always go back up to 2 tiles. So if you laid down 2, you would draw 2. If you laid down 1, you would draw 1. If you have an additional auction, you would go up to 3. So you make sure you do that before the end of the turn is over so that you're ready for the next turn. So that would be my first, number 1, discover the trail. The second thing is you would draw a calamity card. Now, if you're starting in Independence, Missouri, or you are at a fort, now the fort has those small goods, not the large goods, but the small one, then you don't have to draw a calamity card. So we don't have to do it this time. So then you move to the next phase, and it says take 3 actions. Now, there are actions that count as towards actions, and then you have free actions. So I'm going to tell you one action is to move, and that would count as one action. If I was on like a hunting tile, I could hunt. That would be another option. If I was at a fort or a town, I could buy. If I was at a town, I could sell. And if I was at a town, I could pick up hitchhikers. Those are your 3 actions that you can do. And you can do, if you're at the hunt one, you want to use all 3 of your actions to hunt, or all 3 of your actions to sell, or to move, or you're welcome, you can use them any way that you would like. Your free actions can be used at any point during your action phase. These don't count towards your actions. You can use them at any time, before, during, or after your actions that you're limited to only 3 of. So the free actions is you can move along a road, and so what that means is if you had a road, say right here, this was my road, I could count all of this as one action because I'm moving along that road, and I could stop at any point on that road. So that is a free action. Another free action that you can have is to cross the river. Now, I showed a video on how to cross a river, and that explains that you have a couple of options for crossing a river. And then another free action that you can do is avoid a calamity. So on your calamity card, it tells you if it's something negative, it tells you what you can do to avoid it if there is something. I did a video on calamity cards that you're welcome to watch. That's a free action, and you can do that during your action phase. Also, during this, throwing out supplies is something. If your wagon has too many supplies, you would have to throw them out. So this would be a free action that you can do at any point. Or if there's something you don't want, you could throw it out. Most of the time you sell it or you keep it till you use it. And then another free action is medicine. At any point that you need to use medicine, then you are welcome to use it. I wanted to add one more action that is not, for whatever the reason, it is not listed on this player on the take 3 actions. But if you go to the rule book, it says that one of your free actions is to trade. And I want to just explain to you how trading works. So let's pretend that these were the tiles that were already on the board. We filled up to this point, and we've just added these ones. And we happen to have a player here and another player here. So in the game rules, it says players can trade supplies on their turn if they are next to or on the tile trail with the wagon they are trading with for a free action. So it doesn't count against you. Players cannot trade money, wagon upgrades, hitchhikers, or family members. So you would basically only be able to trade your goods. That's an option. For some reason, they did not have it on here when they put the actions available, but it is in the rules. So say if I was crossing the river, I have 3 actions here, so I've only used 1 action. I can't buy because I'm not at a place to buy or sell or pick up hitchhikers. So I could, if there was more room, I could move along the road, or I could do the cross the river. So once I determine my turn's over and say I'm going to forfeit my other actions and I'm just going to cross this river safely, then you would go to step 4 and you would resolve any calamities. So if there's a calamity card that you have, it's at that point you get the free good or whatever it is in step 4. Your calamity happens. Some of them are good and some of them are bad. And then step 5 is you refresh your market cards. If you sold something, then you would refresh this. And so if you want to learn more about how the market cards work, watch my town video on how the town tiles work. And then the last thing that you would do is you would feed your family. And so every round you will feed your family 1 meat cube and you just discard it. So that is what you do. You continue playing. In each column, you cannot move on to the next column until you have at least 2 tiles laid in the first column. So here, I could lay here, but I cannot lay in this third column until I at least have 1 more in this column. And the tiles always have to be laid to adjacent tiles. I wouldn't just lay it like right here or right here. I would need to make sure it's up against one of these other. It has to be either here, here, or here. Those are your 3 options. You continue playing this game and you continue all the way until you get to the Willamette Valley. So one of 2 things happens. Either you run out of tiles, all the tiles have been placed, and then at that point you end the round. So whoever the starting player is, you would end up until that starting player. Or the other way to end the game is when, even if you haven't run out of placing the tiles, not all the tiles have been placed, but someone makes it to the Willamette Valley. The game would then end at the end of the round for all players to play that round. And I'm going to tell you about scoring in our next video.